So with that said, let's figure out what I got wrong. I thought this would be a big day for Aaron Jones. Obviously, he got hurt. Looks like the knee injury is not going to be that serious. But here's the deal. The Packers averaged only 3.5 yards a carry, 3.6, despite Jaden Reed going 3 for 46. Now, the next guy in line for yards per carry was Emmanuel Wilson with 4. And then way down there was A.J. Dillon with 2.1. That has to change. And I like, again, we've seen that other teams can do it. And we've seen other teams have success running the plays that they ran yesterday. And we've seen other teams have success against a team with Joey Bosa on the field. So it's not the play calling. It's like those two tight ends. And everybody says, oh, the tight ends look great. It's because they see the catches and they go, oh, man, they look so good. The tight end's got to block a little bit better if you want to better, because you're not going to run the ball. This isn't a 50-run team. You got to make the most of the opportunities, right? So if you screw up 4 of those, you only get 2 yards on 4 of them. You go, 4 carries, 8 yards. Tough sledding. Second thing I got wrong. Keenan Allen had a good day, but he dropped the 3rd down at the 2-yard line that, maybe he walks in there, but it's certainly 1st and goal. They're probably scoring. So that's 7 points. That's a 4-point turn. And then he drops the sure touchdown on his chest later in the game where the Wisconsin sun gets in his eyes. So he has a big day with a touchdown and, over 100 yards passing, but you're going, could have been bigger. Quentin Johnson drops the gimme TD for the win. And you're looking at it, because that was a big matchup as those wide receivers versus our secondary. And for just being honest, Herbert, who's might be the most insanely talented kid on a team, he could have been looking down the barrel at 350 yards and 3 or 4 touchdowns. But they just make those catches. And it's just a fact, right? And he didn't. So you can't what if. But when guys are dropping balls when they're open, that's, you kind of got to look at it like, all right, were we this? Were we lucky? Were we good? Did we pressure him? So I think for me, that wasn't really a secondary issue. That was more of we're not beating up Will Clapp at center to get down the middle to make this guy get off the spot. Like he's throwing on the spot way too many times this game. I think for me, it was just too easy for him to get the ball out without having to move around. And my 3rd thing was, Preston Smith got after Slater. He is my defensive MVP for the season right now. And you saw Kenny Clark got it for Will Clapp late. I just think we should have. You would like to see them look at the scheme and then also go, I want to find where's the guy that I can exploit. And that guy's put enough tape on that you can exploit him. So exploit him next time. Keys to victory. Let's just do a quick review. Big plays on offense was something that we needed to do. We went over 20 for the first time in a long time. Number of big plays in this game, in the running game. Here's a fun fact. Brandon Staley's from the Vic Fangio tree, which prides itself on not giving up explosive plays, yet I think that's probably the most explosive plays the Packers have gotten in a long time. Fun fact. Second thing, pressuring Herbert up the middle. We talked about. We missed the mark on that one. He's a sneaky good athlete. That one run was huge. And then the third thing was make the game about Aaron Jones. Wanted to get him 35 touches. Reed and Wick showed their potential. I think that was the big thing there. It's like, yeah, he got hurt, but some guys stepped up. The youth stepped up and had shine time in the spotlight. The big takeaway today, it really is, for me, that Matt LaFleur and this staff, I think they put together a really good game plan for the Chargers defense in particular. And I just think the execution was average. Love had a good day, no doubt, going over 300. Like, you're not like, it's great. And for the first time, it's great. I think he took a step forward. Pre-snap indicators, post-snap processing. Made some throws under duress. But we got to be better in the running game. I think if you take away, if you start thinking, what are your areas of opportunity? You average 2.6 yards per carry if you take away the wide receivers running. In other words, your running backs average 2.6 yards per carry. Not good enough. Okay. Offensive line and tight ends need to do a better job. We saw communication issues in the passing game between Myers and Runyon, Myers and Ryan. We saw communication issues and blocking issues with the tight ends. You got to be better. Love's missing a couple of those throws that you'd like to get back. Both teams could come out of this game going, man, we could have had 30. I think I said that already, but I think both teams are looking at it that way. Like there were some missed opportunities there, given how I think how well Herbert throws the ball, and then how many ways schematically, and then just from an execution standpoint, the Chargers defense struggles. And the 150 yards on the ground. We talk about the secondary and Herbert and all this stuff, but really it starts with your ability to gain yardage. Eckler's averaging 6 yards a carry, 6.4 yards per carry. Okay, and I know a lot of that's on one play, but it sets the tone for how you think about the defense. And you have to be able to win on the backside. You just have to win your one-on-ones. You see, even when they pulled through on the trap and the two plays at the left guard, left tackle, win their one-on-ones. You have to be able to win your one-on-ones in this league. That's what makes the thing go. At the risk of being too long a show, I'm going to give a couple minutes to these listener questions. I spent a lot of time on tape today. Listener question number 1. How do you hold your players accountable for mistakes? What options are there for a coach? Great question. So, me personally, the whole philosophy is this. You have to teach them how to do it first, right? You have to teach them how to do it. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to say, I can draw it up and so it's going to work, right? I'll draw it up. It works. Like life doesn't work that way. You have to teach it. And I got a process that we go through to teach everything, but you have to teach it. Now, if they're not doing it, if they're not putting in the work, it's not even at the pro level. It's not even a warning. If you're not putting in the work to get better, I'm going to find somebody who will. It's that easy. Because I want guys who are all in, right? You want guys who are now. What that work likes and what preparation looks like is different for different people. But if you're a wide receiver who drops passes and doesn't hit the jugs machine at all, I probably don't want you on my team. If that makes sense. If you're an offensive lineman and you get beat on your blocks every time, and I watch you and your warm-ups are no good, we're going to have a talk like, hey, man, see how this transfers. If you don't get any better, I don't want you on my team. So that's how I would deal with it. You're not big on calling people out. Calling people out, you got to understand personalities are all different. You call somebody out, you might lose them in the locker room. It's like Hardos would say, oh, I don't care. Well, I care. These guys are humans, man. You want them to play. You want them to hit their ceiling. You're trying to make them as good as you can, right? You forget about the money and all this other stuff. It's like, I want you to be good. That's my job. So a lot of the abrasive stuff that maybe you saw back in the day, not as much now, but there are consequences. You can just be stern and honest. We're going to do it this way. Do it the best you can. If it doesn't work out, we'll figure something out. But if you're not even going to try, find somebody else. How the Titans progress? We talked about it. Do some stuff in the passing game. Certainly have a lot of talent. Musgrave made some good catches in particular. Running game's got to improve. Got to just keep improving. And again, I don't think it's a want-to thing. It's what we're just talking about. You got to teach them how to do it and teach them how to do it and teach them how to do it until it becomes automatic. Does 75 earn the right to start over 76? No, not in my opinion. You got Bull Rush to play after. We talked about him and Myers are screwing up both pull left or whatever. Who's on first deal? Listen, I think long-term, you got to ask yourself, is he a better talent? And I think at this point with 4-6 season, who knows what's going to happen here, but you're probably thinking are we projecting out that he's going to battle for a starting spot next year? Is that what we're doing right now? We're going to start giving let's ask me this. Is he deserve to get 2 series next year? If he got 1 series this week, does he deserve to get 2 next week? Yeah, he does. Does he deserve to get more than he's getting right now? Probably. Do the Packers have a personnel evaluation problem? I'm not even going to touch that one. Listen, sometimes when you draft high, Lucas Van Ness 13th, right? You're getting more production out of some of the later guys. Dobbs last year, Reed in the 3rd, Wicks, I forgot what he's 6th. So there's kind of expectations for different levels. The big thing is, are you guys making those decisions in harmony with the staff? Is the staff just desperate to get Lucas Van Ness with the 13th pick in the draft because they think he's going to help right now? Or are you, from a philosophical standpoint, thinking listen, Jordan Love's not going to be ready this year. We want to be good in 2025, and he's going to be a 2025 guy. And all of that you have to live with. But the big thing is, and I've been on both sides of this as far as how teams are structured, organizations work. Are they saying in meetings that they're really working together? Or is it like right now where you go look at like some of the bottom of the barrel teams talking about who they picked at quarterback and who they should have picked, and everyone's kind of coming out saying some different stuff, right? That's the big thing is that really when the doors are closed and they're having a conversation, are they thinking like we wanted, and I'm just using Van Ness as an example because it's an easy one. He's a first round pick. Do we want Van Ness now when we think he can play now? Or do we want Van Ness for 2 years from now because we all think we're going to be here 2 years from now and we think that he's going to be a big help? So I think that's the way you have to look at that. Like it's, and there are guys, listen, I would evaluate personnel completely different than people on their staff because I look at things different. I just look at things differently. That they probably have a system that they've been using that they've always used that 99% of the teams use. And have they evolved? I don't know. I mean, you really don't know because there's a lot of things that need to evolve in that system. The one at least that I saw 4 or 5 years ago is archaic, but they have a process that they go through and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You're not going to hit on everything. How would you rank the wide receiver room? It's funny. The Packers wide receivers, it looks you have like the fast guy, you have the route runner, you have like your X and your Z and your slot guy. It's like you have everybody you want, and now you might have another guy with Wicks because you run 4. So it's not like I wouldn't rank him. I just like you feel like you have the positions covered. You have like you think of Dobbs as like maybe your route runner. You think of Christian Watson as the guy who takes it over the top. You think, and you don't want to pigeonhole him, but just like from a trait standpoint, this is like in the 90s and 2000s, you kind of just built these trait players, right? Then you have your small guy who's in the slot, the Wes Welker guy. So it kind of makes sense the way they have this thing built out. But I don't know from a ranking standpoint. I don't know. Don't really care. And then one of my buddies says, "Does this game and his response get Staley fired?" If Staley's got a job at the end of the year, I'd be shocked. I'm shocked that he had a job at the end of the Jaguars game last year. To be honest with you. The way he responded to that yesterday was, obviously these guys are frustrated. Like, Matt LaFleur probably took some more ownership on this game than he did last game when he's, Aaron Jones did this, Christian Watson ran this route. Like when you lose and you're losing, they're human. Like they're going to, they get butt hurt too. It happens. But it's easy to say, it's on me when you win. It's hard to say it, after you've lost 4 in a row. Staley's, you're a head coach, a defensive guy. You got the worst passing defense in the league. You gave up a 300, the guy's never had 300 yards in his life. And you just give up 300 yards to Jordan Love for his first outing for 300. And it's really tough to be in those locker rooms, man. I've been in those locker rooms. It's really tough to be in those locker rooms where you just don't know, those guys are probably over there going like, what do we got to do? They're good players. Like we're NFL guys. Like, why can't we fix this problem? What's wrong with what we're trying to do? And then your coach comes out and says, I believe in what we're teaching. I believe in my philosophy. I believe in my play calling. And I'm just being honest with you. I can't speak for anybody in there, but I guarantee there's people in that room going like, no, we don't. Because if we did, we wouldn't be 32nd. If we bought into what you were doing and how you were doing it, we wouldn't be 32nd in the league in passing. So enjoy the week, guys. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. Rate and review us on our Process to Perform channel on YouTube. You can find me at Mike Wall 68 on Twitter and Process to Perform on Instagram. We'll be back on Thursday. No, we won't. Oh, my goodness gracious. I'll do a preview show for the Lions somehow. I'll figure it out. They had a good game versus the Bears this weekend, but we'll figure something out. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you soon.